Hello and welcome to the Craft Man Show. Probably need to go inside so that y'all can hear me. Hello again and welcome to the Craft Man Show. In today's video, we're going to look at making things out of concrete. We got us an email. Let's see what does this say. Hey Craft Man, hopefully you see this. I recently found your channel and have gone back through your older videos to learn more about molding and casting. Thank you for these, BTW. By the way, Craftman does not know what acronyms, abbreviations, and things stand for most of the time. So, I just try to come up, with what I own, what I think that it might be. Thank you for these big time watching. One thing I have not seen you do is incorporate concrete into silicone mold. I think the possibilities there are pretty big. Thanks again and keep steady crafting. Sylvia. Well, Miss Sylvia, let's see if we can come up with something for you today. I said, look at this old milk bottle right there. See where the bottle was broken? It got some little damages to it right there. But I said, I think we can work with this. I said, what if we just make us a mold of this right there? And then cast it in concrete. Then we can make us a little plant, a little vase, something like that with it. Sylvia, what do you think about that? Your family into the dairy farming and things? I said, that might be appropriate. But also, we're going to take it some notches up several to the perimeter. We want to preserve some of the natural neatness of the bottle, the things that's already got. But let's say we might want to go on ahead and just incorporate some additional things into it. So let's get creative with this bottle right there. Now you can use VitaFlex 40 right there, which is one of the recommended silicone products that's for not silicone. Technically it is a urethane rubber compound. It's a pretty resilient, tough mold making material. However, I would like to try just using my regular old friend Mold Star 15 Slow. And if y'all been with me for a few episodes, then you know that Mold Star is my favorite silicone mold to use. In particular, I like the Slow because, as the name implies, you do not have to get in a hurry with this. But before we can start pouring up our mold, we need something to make a mold to make. Before we can make us a mold, we need something from which to make a mold from out of, right there. You can just actually make you a mold of that right there, and then we can make us a little concrete thing out of this. But I said, let's see what else can we do that we can show the viewing audience at home about what kind of creative possibility that you can get to customize, to personalize. And this just opens up the whole realm of opportunity, possibility to you all today. So I went to the nearest hobby store and got some things. Oh, excuse me. And got some things like that. You could even take you some little things like that. Take you some little glue dots or something like that. And then when you make a mold of this, all of your cast that you do out of concrete, will have that little detail to it. It says a bottle of milk is a bottle of health. Maybe we could take a little asterisk right there, put it after that statement. And then on the back, we could take some text letters and just write, this statement has not been approved by the Food and Drug Administration. This milk cannot be used to treat or end a disease such as this. And these are called thickers. See that? Because they got some different dimensions to them. My grandmother, who is no longer on earth with us, that's how she would say either stickers or thickers would be pronounced the same way. I would pay good money today to be able to ride down there to my grandma's house and change the time on their VCR right now. And that's kind of neat right there. A bottle of milk is a bottle of healthy. It's, it somewhat goes together. Yeah, help me think of some ideas there. And so that's another option. You can say Sylvia, comma. Some people debate, whether milk is appropriate, for humans to drink. But we don't get into controversial topics on Steady Crafting channel. But I just want to show you the creative of things that you can do with this. And this was speaking to moderation. Too much of anything is too much, but you can have a little bottle of milk. I don't know. Lit is a word that people use nowadays to describe things that have excitement. This, I like y'all potato salad is lit. And since this video is for Miss Sylvia, currently living in Texas, formerly from Louisiana, I said, you even could just come on here with some clay and, have you a big old, do what? Have you a big old Texas on your bottle like that. That's probably is too big. Let's see. If you're going to play in Texas, then you gotta have a fiddle in the band. All right. The lead guitar is high, but not for a Louisiana man. So there we go. We got Texas on the bottle. So I thought it would be kind of neat to use these letters, and I was going to write Texas across the back of it. But what I would do is, is take and look at where the middle is, try to find the center point. And then what I do is take the middle letter, and T-E-X-A-S. So I will take the X, find the middle, and then put the X marks the spot right there in the middle. And then we got Texas on the back of it. In case you don't, because that's probably not the most accurate geographical, right there. All right, so now we need to find us a container that's big enough to hold this so that we can pour the mold around it. There right there is too short. I found this right there at the grocery store. And, I did not have the bottle with me. I just was up in there looking at groceries and things. And I said, look at this, baby. That right there might work. And it might well be interesting to try these anyway. But it's definitely tall enough. But if you look at it, I don't think that's going to give you enough circumferential around it. It might be kind of flippy flimsy looking. And so I got this one. But look, it's not quite there. But it definitely has the right diameter to give some support, some beefiness, because when you do, especially messing with concrete, you like to have a good solid hefty mold, but I think we can get away with this if we jerry rig it. Jerry rig successful. The way this is going to work is we're going to make the mold upside down like that, so that what happens is that our opening is going to be through the little spout right there. However, we got a couple little issues. Number one, this is going to try and float up. See that? And then also probably I'm going to have to go on ahead and take me some clay and do some reconstructive right there. Now I could have taken just some, epoxy clay and gone ahead and made that permanent, but I still want to use my bottle that my mama gave me for display, and keep it up in the kitchen window. And so I said, I'm going to use a temporary like that. And then when we're done with it, I could just take that off and restore back to its original character. So I'm just going to take me a little bit of isopropyl alcohol and just kind of ahead and to kind of just carefully remove any sort of residual that might be here. I'm going to try these glue dots because that would be a temporary solution that I can clean out. So I'm going to hit that with a few little dots. Alright, so we got some glue dots, looks like. We've got designs on the back side and the front side. See that right there? Can you see that seam line right there? Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get me a marker and make a mark on the container, you know, so that I will know which side of the mold that I need to cut on. And then when y'all wasn't looking, I went ahead and built up that wall a little bigger so that we can have more height to it, which means the bottom of the mold is going to be thicker. How much silicone is it going to take to fill this up properly? You know, I don't know. If I don't know the answer, I just go ahead and say approximately. Craftsman, you could just fill this up with rice and then dump it out, and that's you an exact silicone that you will need. Y'all always wait till after I get to this point to tell me that. Alright, so I'm going to put everything in a bigger container. We got us about 40 minutes to get this mixed up, get it poured up, so we're not in any kind of big time hurry. And we're going to check back on things tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and just cut this off of here, okay? But I would say that, you know, if you want to just keep on using your container, that what you can do prior to, before pouring your silicone, is to spray a mold release all up inside of your container. And then you can take your little air hose, some compressed air, stick a needle down in there and blow air up into this, and then just kind of help you to get this out of there. When you go removing this that kind of plastic that gets real brittle, you know. Let's see. See that? All right. Instead of just, you know, having to fix all the audio with the clipping, I'm going to just go ahead and cut and take this off. That's what's so neat about doing video editing, is that you could do magical things like this right there. Do y'all remember the other day when I drew my little black mark on it so that I would know which side to cut the seam down? You know, I have exploded the plastic container and I do not know which side to cut on. Instead of guesstimating, I can do a couple of things. Go back and review the videos and see which side, you know, in reference to this. Now you also could remove the lid so you can see down inside of it. But, you know, that will be cheating. And also, you don't want to degrade the value of your timeless artifacts. Using a scientific process, I have determined, you know, where to cut on this, but I would just like to point out to you that you can always just draw right onto your object, you know. But in this case, my mama gave it to me. And so what I'm going to do is, instead of just cutting a straight on line down and taking that bottle out, we're going to do a variation of what they call the jeweler's cut. Always what you want to start with is a very sharp blade right there. You know, you can use, you know, whatever that you might prefer, but just make sure that that blade is very, very sharp. All right. And you can pull away from the surface like that and start to cut with it. On the outside, I'm going to go ahead. I got to where I started doing my cuts like this instead of doing just straight zigzag. So it does take a very sharp knife. Now it helps if you have somebody to hold things for you while you cut. But they also make these little things that veterinarians use. It stays right there until you release it. Now we can see that the Texas was messed up in the process, and it looks like it captured the details. And we clean that up in a little bit with some alcohol, rubbing alcohol. But for now, let's see if we can make us a little concrete vase. Always is the question, how much do you need to fill up your mold? You can fill this up with water and then dump that back out into this, and that will tell you exactly precision how much that you need, whether that's resin, concrete. You got to dry this thing out, and if you got just a little drop of water up in there, it's going to form a pocket in your cast piece. Now with concrete, it's not that big of a deal. With resin, it really is. My seams are lined up pretty good right there. And anytime you do this, you just want to do enough to keep it sealed, but not enough that it's going to squeeze and deform your mold, which will deform your object too. And I got this thing where I always like to go around and make sure, I don't like to have my rubber band twisted. I like to make sure they're all flat. That's because of obsessive compulsive disorder, probably. Well, anyway, I'm going to add me another rubber band right about there. You know, that's about how much concrete we need, so there we go. Now, like I said, you know, it don't hurt to have some little excess water because we just doing a concrete mixture. And we're going to be adding water to the concrete anyway, but you know, it's a little if possible excess. If you're doing resin, you don't want any, not even a little bit of zippity doo dah. You got to get all of the water out if you're doing resin. And I'm going to keep it real simple today and just use an over-the-counter pre-made concrete mix right there. I'm going to take this outside before I even open that bag and get some stuff floating around everywhere. And that's another thing. Please wear you a dust mask anytime you fooling with anything that throws up dust, especially fine particle, fine dust. You don't want to be breathing that. You don't want to be breathing wood dust. Just about any kind of powder that there is, wear you a dust mask, all right? All right, once we mix the water with the concrete, we're going to have to move kind of quick to get it into the mold. And so before we do that, we have got to think about, we making us a little vase that's going to supposedly have a little hole in it. We could just power the whole thing up and then just, you know, take it out and then get us a masonry bit and drill down into it. But my preferential is to take something that's going to form the inside shape. Now I'm just going to take and fill in that hole with some steel stick. I said, since I got this, I might as well use it. This is from previous videos. And I'm just going to go ahead and use all of it. I'm going to hunting around and find me some kind of a bigger bucket or something that I can mix with without worrying about things splashing out, you know. So just trying to keep it as dust free as possible. Now you don't want to just go on ahead and dump all the water in. When you're messing with concrete mixtures, remember that the more water, typically the weaker the final mix will be. So you want to use just enough water. In this case today, we want to use just enough to make it that it will pour down into this really good and seep into all the crevices and creases. It's real easy to add too much. Ooh, that might have been too much. Let's see. Yeah. Now, in general, that is a very wet mixture. And I know all you concrete peoples out there's probably yelling, too much watercraft, man. And go on ahead and start to dump things into this. And then we just kind of tapping it just to try and get some of them bubbles out. I'm going to stop right there. And then we're going to take our little funnel piece and then just kind of center it right up in there somewhere. I'm going to grab me this little massager. This part is not 100% necessary, but this is, as you can see, this is a back massager that we use for this kind of purpose. You know, so at this point, I think, I start to learn some things. I say, well, next time, let's see, a couple of things. We need to maybe build us something that will help to form that top of your bottle, your vase, and then also will give you something to grab onto when it comes time to, pull it out. But let's just see. That little funnel tip kept wanting to float up at the top. And I said to myself, let me put some tape on it. See that? Nah, then. I already see 2-3 different things I would do differently with that little spout. But we learn it. And so I'm going to just, before this thing fully, completely sets up, because I know how this concrete can grip onto something, and I'm going to take and just go on ahead and let's see if we can remove this without it collapsing. All right. And so you have to time that right, because if you do that too early, then it's going to slump back down into there, And so what I do is I will take and just go on ahead and just leave this sort of, to where it's going to be easy to get that out. You know what? Probably just go ahead and leave it out. I think it'll be all right. And then we got our bottle back to normal. You can see that just some little rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, and just some little elbow grease. And that's kind of neat right there. It picked up all the little details. Now, if you wanted to, you can take and mix you up some more of your little mortar, your concrete mix, and just patch in them little areas right there. But personally, I don't really mind when I'm doing a concrete casting. I don't really mind them little holes and things in it, you know. Alright, so now we got us a real smooth top. You can just rub it up against a cinder block wrap piece of sandpaper that came off a belt sander. And I can already read your thoughts as you are watching this video. And you saying, Craftman, this thing could use a black wash. I just went and looked through some of the darker colors that I had. To make this black wash, all I'm using is just about a 1 part of acrylic paint, regular old acrylic paint. And I'm just going to go and put me a little bit of brown in it as well, just a touch. To about 4 parts, maybe 5, something like that, of water. So a little bit of paint, a lot of bit of water, and that's your black wash. And if you wanted to, you could just take you a rag or something and just glob it on there, you know. There's a little finishing technique on this I'm going to show you that's going to actually make things happen. But for now, we just getting some little color up on here. Now coming up right here is probably my favorite part of the whole process. What you do with this is to take you a sanding sponge, preferably something light grit, and just very lightly and I even like to go around some of the areas that just looks a little bit too, you know, too painted. I go ahead and just kind of, you know, overall makes it just look like a good, worn out handle, aged effect on it. You know, you got a project that you're working on and you say to yourself, these details not really showing up. If you want your details to pop, then a Craftman advice is always bet on black wash. But you can even go ahead and put you on some gloss if you wanted to, some clear acrylic, you know, to seal that in, whatever that you might like to do. If you want to take this even further, to be honest, this is a pretty good concrete mix. I mean, I hadn't took it and just, you know, tried to hit it over nothing too severely, but you can add some nylon fibers to your concrete mixes. See there? And make the whole thing more structurally sound. In my opinion, it's overkill for a little vase project like this right there. But, you know, something that you might want to consider is that you can do that. And there you go. So the last step would be to just go on ahead and put your item up on Etsy and then try to decide on a price. That's probably always the tricky hard part for me to do. Thank y'all so much for joining me on Steady Crafting. Tell your grandmother, grandpa, your mom, dad, Craftman said, join me next time. I love y'all and keep steady crafting.